The Maratha Quota stir is a big, politically sensitive issue that has been simmering for a very long time. But now, the protest quota stir that has hit the streets of Mumbai in one of the biggest demonstrations yet has completely crippled the city. And the headlines aren't all uniformly just about the politics of the stir. They're also about how the city has been paralyzed, the fact that there has been rowdyism and looting, the fact that citizens in different parts of Mumbai, including in South Bombay, have been complaining about the behavior, about protesters. Even the High Court has now had to step in. Maximum City has become a mess. Quota protesters in many ways have occupied Mumbai without the requisite permissions, and politicians are simply having no choice but to look the other way because of what else in this country but political compulsions. The protests have brought in many parts of Mumbai life to a complete halt. Schools, colleges in Mumbai shut. Productivity has been hit. Some people have been working from home in their thousands. Protesters are bathing and cooking on the streets of an already massively congested city. They're eating, playing kabaddi on platforms. Traffic is completely out of whack. Protesters are storming into eateries and shops. There have been reports of looting in some areas. The High Court has had to crack down on the Jarange Patil stir. The High Court has issued an ultimatum to the protesters after the damage has already been done. Mumbaikars have had to suffer this nightmare. This is not to comment on the substance of the call for Maratha protests. They want to be part of the OBC. But the question now is this a reservation movement, or is this a license for complete rowdyism in the city of Mumbai? And what kind of cost has been inflicted on the people of Mumbai because of an issue that the politicians are refusing to sort out? Joining me live now, and we'll continue to play all of those compelling pictures, Anish Gawande, he's spokesperson of the Sharad Pawar NCP, Shaina MC, member of the ruling Shiv Sena in Mumbai. Reena Deora is a Mumbai resident. She's owner of Elite Auto Industry and director at Bombay Ampules Private Limited. She's a businesswoman who lives and works in Mumbai and whose life, I presume, has been affected by what's been taking place on the streets of the city. Shaina, I want to quickly come to you first. The High Court has had to step in,
Thank you.
And crack the whip. This is something that the government of Maharashtra should have foreseen and perhaps preempted, but it didn't happen, and there's been widespread, rowdyism in the name of protests that have crippled the city of Mumbai. What is your view on this?
So first, let's understand what Mr. Jarange wants. He wants a government resolution to be issued saying that the Marathas in Marathwada region are Kumbis. Now, today we had the Honorable Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, Eknath Shinde, Ajit Pawar, the Advocate General, Birendra Saraf, and the Cabinet Subcommittee head, which is Radhakrishna V.K. Patil, to first determine whether Kunbi status can be given to Marathas and whether it stands valid from the Hyderabad and Satara gazettes, and whether there is legal validity. Now, our government, whether it was Devendra Fadnavis when he was Chief Minister first, who agreed to the 10% extra reservation for Marathas, and then we know what happened when the matter reached the Supreme Court. Then there was the Ubata, the then Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray ji. Whether the documents were presented right or wrong is a political statement, so I won't get into any of that, Shiv. But the fact is that post that, our leader, my leader, Eknath ji Shinde, worked tirelessly for the Maratha community. 5,000 Marathas being given jobs, the avenues of going overseas, and we do know
but Shaina, that doesn't answer my question. I'm asking you, how have these people been allowed to do to Mumbai what they've done? We understand the politics of it, but how has the government allowed this to happen?
So an agitation an agitation where you take permission for coming in with your supporters at Azad Maidan is something that the government or any government always does give. But yes, there have been inconveniences to the Mumbaikar, whether it's the central and the harbour lines that were running 20-25 minutes late, or the fact that certain bus services, CST area being so overcrowded, the disruption that has been caused is something which is being looked into with absolute sensitivity, and at the same time with the correct kind of aggression that the government needs to take to resolve this matter. So I don't think that an agitation can be just stalled, but the cause has to be kept in mind, that keeping in mind, a buffer time always is required.
No, but
and yes,
nobody is commenting on the cause itself. It is the manner in which things have actually
this.
played out. Reena, it's a sensitive issue. You live in Mumbai. We do understand that quota stirs, carry the politics of the day with them. What was your experience in the city of Mumbai? We were looking at these pictures all day today.
Yeah. So I speak as a proud Mumbaikar. For me, Mumbai is not just a city, it's the heart of India.
Yeah.
Today, look around. Traffic is blocked, schools are closed, daily wage workers are losing their livelihoods, and patients are struggling to reach hospitals. Garbage is piling up. This is Mumbai we are talking about. We are a city of energy, hope, and opportunity. I think every destruction is weakens, but is just making Mumbai much, much stronger. I think everybody is really angry. Anger should not become destruction. I think let the government act fairly and transparently. I think there needs to be dialogue and mutual respect, and hurting the city is not the right way.
Anish, what would you say to the government? Has the government done enough on what's taken place on the streets of Mumbai? And then I'll let Shaina answer. Anish.
Shiv, the unfortunate truth is that the reason Manoj Jarange Patil ji is on a hunger strike in Azad Maidan is the same reason that there is no BJP panelist on this debate tonight. Because the BJP, in all of its arrogance, refuses to engage with anyone who disagrees with them. Now, there is a government in Maharashtra with an absolute majority and then some. They have almost 240 seats in the Vidhan Sabha. They are in power in the BMC, which they control through an administrator, and they are in power at the national level. How is it possible that not a single minister from this government has bothered to go and meet Manoj Jarange Patil ji and listen to his concerns? Just days before this protest was scheduled to start, they changed the rules for demonstrations. The High Court, in all of its wisdom, and I think this is a terrible decision by the High Court, upheld these rules and said that protests at Azad Maidan also need to comply with a slew of regulations that completely stifle democracy in all of its forms. The alternative venue given for this protest was in Kharghar in a swamp. Even at Azad Maidan, protesters were filling up potholes with sand and with gravel brought in from outside the city.
Okay.
This is childish at this point, Shiv. Of course there's anger because the government is refusing to listen.
Shaina, respond to that. Says that this is the government's fault. The government has allowed this to precipitate and become this way. No minister has gone to meet Mr. Jarange Patil either.
Look, let me please make it very clear that our government has stood by the Maratha movement, and this is a fact. It was Devendra Fadnavis who was, when he was the chief minister the first time, that even agitated and took forward the 10% extra reservation for the Marathas. It was our chief minister Eknath Shinde that worked collectively with Devendra Fadnavis back in the day and have continued to do so now. Now you ask about, multiple questions as to why we should allow, or what has the court said. What has the court said? The court has said that this is not the permission that had been given initially, and if it has caused inconvenience and owing to the city which is working day after day, regular commuters, people in the area, around the area, they have all been inconvenienced, and that is why they have said that, we must look into this as a law and order situation, and from Monday the decision is that for the government of the day to ensure that peace and law and order is maintained. Now, after the meeting today, it's not as if there is no dialogue which is continuing. So please let me say that, if you have had huge stock of food and water being distributed to the protesters, along with the inconvenience that it has caused in and around the kind of magnitude that you have seen, a blanket issuance saying that this Kunbi status should be given to Marathas has been ruled out by the subcommittee led by Radhakrishna V.K. Patil and Advocate General Birendra Saraf, saying that this is a decision which the honourable courts will take, and obviously the courts have to take cognizance of what is happening on ground.
Anish, quick response,
I don't think that we should be immature and try and blame each other, but I would definitely want to say one thing, Shiv. Please, just allow me one thing.
Yeah.
The kind of diversions and the kind of attention that the Mumbai police has been giving on ground to this entire agitation without hurting anyone, not the protesters or the citizens, I think is also something that needs to be looked at and looked at
of course they're doing their job. It must be acknowledged for sure.
Yes, they are allowed
I have no doubts in my mind that the Mumbai police is doing a terrific job. But look at the situation. The situation is because of political omission and commission. Anish, quick word, then I'll end with Reena.
Shiv, the sad reality is that this government had issued a blanket fatwa to food stalls around the area to not serve food, to ensure that protesters would have to seek alternative recourse. Liquor shops were allowed to stay open, but public urinals were not provided. So governance failure cannot be denied over here, right? And my bigger challenge over here is I appreciate what Shaina has said over here about various measures being taken by the government over the past few years on Maratha reservation. We face flack for this as well. But the buck now stops with the government. Eknath Shindeji introduced the Kunbi certificates for Marathas. Governance is about continuity. Now that Devendra Fadnavis ji is chief minister, he cannot renege upon a promise made by a democratically elected chief minister to crores of people across the state. He cannot do this, otherwise people will take to the streets.
Reena, I will end with you because you've heard the politicians.
Mr. Gawande, the court has intervened saying that Maratha Quota is not peaceful and has violated all the conditions on which they were first given the permission.
Okay.
So this is an ultimatum which has come from the honourable courts. We have to only abide
let me give
by
the
what
common
the courts
Mumbaikar
say.
the last word.
And
the last word to the common
sensitivity.
Mumbaikar, because I'm out of time.
Sure,
I appreciate what you're saying. You're putting out the facts, the both of you, but let the Mumbaikar have the last word. Reena, you've heard the politicians. You've heard what the court has said. Ultimately, it is you who has to face what's out there on the streets. And by various acts of delay, omission, commission at the political, government and other levels, it's the Mumbaikar who has to face what they have to do. What would you say to the government tonight? Final word to you.
I just feel that let the government act quickly, fairly and transparently. I have been on the roads. We are true Mumbaikars. We don't stop working. I want to thank also the BMC staff and the Mumbai police. They are working tirelessly day and night to keep the city safe and clear the roads. Even in the chaos, Mumbai spirit shines, and we as ordinary citizens stepping up to keep the city alive. Mumbai has faced floods, has faced riots, has faced terror attacks.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Every time we have emerged more stronger. Today, let us stand together, rise above anger and ensure Mumbai remains safe, united and proud.
I applaud the maturity with which you're looking at a difficult situation. And many people, Shaina, 10 seconds.
Can I just say one sentence? Just one sentence. See, agitation is a part of any democracy, but what the Bombay High Court has only said for the Maratha Quota, that if it's not peaceful and if it has violated the conditions on which it got permissions in the first place, then you bring a city to standstill, then it is obviously the administration, which is the government, that needs to take cognizance of it, take steps in the right direction to make sure that everyone is safe first, number one. And second, when it comes to dialogue and discussion, of course, there are committees which are at play, which are ensuring they can do their very best to give justice to the Maratha community, because we our
Okay,
party, Shiv
okay.
Sena, stands for
We'll
them.
be
I
watching
just want to
very
add something
closely. There have been
cheekily
some
here. I
troubling
want to add
scenes and there
something
are
cheekily
difficult
here, Shiv,
questions
if I
to
may.
ask. But I'm out of time. But thank you, Shaina, Reena, and Anish for being with me on this. Where is that protest going? The issue is definitely a legitimate one, but the manner in which it has played out leaves a lot to be desired, and there are very, very difficult questions to be asked, and that's why we've done so right here on NDTV.